CCIW is proud to participate in the NCAA Office of Inclusion's Diversity and Social Media Campaign, held October 27th to the 29th. As part of this campaign, the CCIW will conduct a series of interviews where we talk to student athletes, coaches, and administrators throughout the conference and get a sense of how the CCIW membership is fostering an inclusive environment. Additionally, we'll turn to our guests throughout this series to learn about their backgrounds and how they use their life experiences as a positive influence on student athletes. So with that, today we welcome in Carroll Assistant Swimming and Diving Coach, Meshach Roberts. Meshach, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So you first competed in the Midwest Conference at Beloit College as a student athlete before coming to Carroll as a coach and graduate assistant. I know you're originally from the Bahamas, so what brought you to the United States as the next step in your journey as a swimming athlete and coach?
Well, I like to say that I'm one example of a common occurrence. I think there's a lot of student athletes outside of the US that are looking for the best opportunity for them, whether that is encompassing academically, financially, as athletically as well. So I think the US was that best opportunity for me. It just so happened that it's Wisconsin. It was a major shift from the Bahamas to Wisconsin, but I appreciate the opportunity. I'm actually following my older brother who also swam in the US at Texas Christian University. But I kind of just followed the opportunity, and the opportunities have kept honestly getting better and better. So I'm happy to be where I'm at. And from that transition from a swimmer to a coach, I've just had an amazing coach in undergrad, as well as a lot of great mentors that put me forward and led me to even more better opportunities. So I'm very grateful for my time at Carroll, and I hope it keeps going on.
Great. How has your life perspective shaped the way you coach student athletes?
I would say my life perspective stems a lot from the cultural experiences that I've had, being from the Bahamas, an international student, getting some experience in the US as well as in South America. I kind of understand that I want to coach the whole person and not just the athlete. I think if you foster the proper environment, you'll create fast swims, you create better people. I think that environment starts with a diverse community and a hardworking community. As well as I've learned that the cookie cutter approach doesn't truly work. It matters a lot where that athlete's from, what they bring to the table, what experiences they've had before. So I kind of mix in a lot of life lessons with the coaching. Sometimes they like that, sometimes they don't, but I think overall it helps create the better person and then the better athlete.
As a whole, what are some of the ways that the sport of swimming can foster a more diverse and inclusive environment?
I think firstly, it has to be more access. For me, as an undergraduate student, I found that a lot of my classmates didn't know how to swim, and they were college age students that didn't have any swim lessons before. And I think that has to do with the accessibility of swimming in itself, whether that be cost or any other kind of hurdles or boundaries that people have to face to get into the sport. So I think a first step for a lot of colleges and universities can be just offering free swim lessons. That can come in a lot of ways. I know a lot of swimmers at Carroll are open to having lessons with students, and I feel like that can be shared across our conference and across universities in general, as well as, I believe, more support in terms of you can bring a lot of people in and you can have a lot of diversity, but if they feel isolated in that space, then it's hard for them to continue and thrive in that space. So we kind of want to make sure that as you push for diversity and inclusion, that you're also having accommodations for those people so that they don't feel isolated. I think swimming in general isn't known as the great lucrative sport that you go into swimming and that can be your career as a swimmer. I guess the ISL is changing that a little bit, but just kind of highlighting the opportunities that can come from swimming as a sport in terms of getting more people to say, I can go to college through this, or I can get a second degree through this, what has happened to me. So just highlighting that there's more to the sport, you get a lot of opportunities through this sport, and I think that'll attract a lot more individuals.
And just lastly, what are some things that athletic departments can do to foster discussion amongst its staff and student athletes with regards to inclusion?
Yeah, I think that's work that definitely needs to be done. In terms of that, I think the athletic department needs to be kind of open in identifying any issues that they do have. I think surveys, whether that's like anonymous or not, can help to kind of figure out what are some issues that are underlying within the department. And that can probably, you got to identify a problem before you can fix it. So I think that helps to identify the problem. And then in terms of fostering that discussion, I think just building stronger relationships amongst the staff themselves. Because if I only know you on a surface level, I don't know if I'll be really comfortable talking to you about inclusion and diversity or what's not. So even the simple knowing what's your coworker's favorite movie or their favorite song or their favorite artist, that can, I think, open up a lot more, just build better relationships that will ultimately open up a lot more in-depth discussions, which can obviously lead to a more inclusive environment.
Well, Meshach, I want to thank you for your time today. This has been very insightful. You've offered up a lot of great suggestions and great perspective. And I wish you nothing but the best going forward in your coaching career.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
No problem.